To me, number 4, Jada McLeod has started in all but now 2 games. She had only not started in 1 game coming into this one. She is not in the starting lineup today, so that's certainly notable.
An interesting mindset there for sure, but looking at the UIC lineup, they have 3 graduates as well as 2 seniors, a lot of experience in this starting lineup, something that maybe the Butler Bulldogs do not have, so it'll be interesting the change of styles here as we begin this one off.
All right, set for the tip-off here. Butler in white, UIC in the visiting Navy. Our 3 officials, Dave Rafalski, Ryan Dunham, and Alicia Shivers. Tip back here to UIC, and they'll have it on this opening possession and get right into the 3-pointer there, thrown up by the transfer from Wisconsin, Christina Elu.
An early open 3 attempt there for UIC. Didn't go down. Good rebound by Jocelyn Land as she loses that one there, but an early pace to this game as we see on the first 2 possessions.
Yeah, both teams really looking to push the pace. Absolutely something to keep an eye on. For Butler, they begin with an opening turnover, something that plagued them in their last game against St. John's, 16 giveaways in that one. Missed it, second chance opportunity thrown up and in there by Kamari Rimmer, the player you highlighted in the open.
Just talked about it. There's a point as well as some points as well as a rebound. So early, coming off that double-double, has to be feeling good about where her game is at. Gets UIC on the board here first.
Man defense here by UIC. As Zeenstra picks it up and flings it around. Very patient with this offensive possession, trying to get into the flow of things. Here's James with 5 to shoot. Land for 3, buries it. Jocelyn Land, just her 17th 3-pointer of the season. They're going to need some good shooting here today.
But for Jocelyn Land, that is her 7th. Of her 30 made field goals, 17 of them have been from outside the arc. She loves to shoot from outside. It is interesting to see how Butler's offense and defense work together. Remember, there's not a lot of experience playing together in a starting lineup situation like this with how shorthanded they are. It'll be interesting to see how they all communicate on both sides of the ball.
Middleton, right there at the middle of the floor, knocked down that jumper. One of several transfers on this UIC roster. She coming over from Marquette, a graduate student. This is we'll get in that in just a minute as McGuff, with a toe on the line, buries the long jumper. 2 straight possessions where Butler able to get the job done. McGuff coming in, 13 points, 8 rebounds per game. And to my point earlier, UIC, a very veteran team here. 5 graduate students, 6 seniors. They just have 4 underclassmen. And so it's a group that's making their first appearance in the WNIT in program history, and they want to keep it going here. 7 to shoot.
And on the other side for Butler, back-to-back years in the women's NIT, experience in postseason basketball.
That one thrown up just to beat the shot clock there by Middleton as she misses. Here comes Butler in transition. McGuff runs into the defender, blocking foul, the call. So 2 shots coming here, first of the game for McGuff.
See McGuff be extra aggressive so far, finding her own shot there. She drives into the lane, is going to get 2 free throws. Going to have to be the leader on the team here right now. Again, joined by 3 freshmen. She comes in as the transfer student. A big role for Kyla McGuff today.
That one rims in and out, no good. Had 7 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in 38 minutes. Was called upon her Friday, March 7th, as they lost to St. John's in the opening round of the Big East tournament. A special experience certainly to play at Madison Square Garden. Able to knock down 1 of 2 there. Just going to be curious in terms of the minutes and the workload. They are having to ask a lot of these Butler players because they're shorthanded. Now, UIC looking to get back the lead, and a quick foul call here defensively on Butler. It's on Sydney James.
Looking for positioning there, and James got a little too handsy, dragged her down. And here, as we talked about, how are we going to manage the lineups? A quick sub gets in Wiggins as well as Stoddard, replacing James and Carmody. So already, that's 7 players that Butler has already in the game here, 3 minutes in.
Ball comes in here to LU, yeah. And for the pace they like to play at and forecourt action, expect a lot of that quick substitutions. As you see inside, a bucket is good right there once again by Rimmer. She has 4 of their 6.
Imposing her will down low in the paint. She's been able to drive. This is a great pass by Ari Wiggins.
Nice finish there. Once again, Jocelyn Land, who leads all scorers with a quick 5. It's high-scoring action here in the first couple of minutes, Stephen.
A lot of fast pace, a lot of trying to get downhill very quickly. Another foul picked up there.
Yeah, battle inside. You see Lily Studdard, who has not played a ton. In fact, the least amount of minutes of a non-injured player on this roster. She's charged with her first personal. Only played 135 minutes. They might need her to go 30 today. We shall see. But they're definitely going to be asking a lot of her and her other teammates, as she was picking up that first personal foul right there, the second of the game on Butler as UIC triggers the inbound.
Stoddard only averaging 6 minutes a game so far this season. Like you said, going to be asked a lot of the junior transfer from Purdue from her freshman season.
Three-pointer right arc is good. Knocked down there by Christina Lu. Buries that three-pointer. They're not a great three-point shooting team. They're 5 of 18 last game, 33% on the season. And we should highlight, by the way, for the why Butler is shorthanded. Without 3 players that had played in all 32 games this season, they chose to put themselves in the transfer portal. Carson Norman, Riley Makalewski, and Kristen Carter. So that's in large part why they're shorthanded today, and it's the new normal here right now for college basketball. An offensive foul on this end of the floor, and that's notable too, because it's on UIC's Danielle Middleton, and that's number 2 on her. So we're going to see a couple quick substitutions here for UIC. Erin Freeman into the game for the first time, as is number 20, Sandra Fro Garcia, transfer from Casper College, entering. Some light full court pressure applied here by UIC, just giving you something extra to think about. Not a heavy pressure one, but tears down some of that shot clock and gives you less time to work offensively. How about that triple? A second of the game for Jocelyn Land. And there's the steal. Here's McGuff in transition. Dumps it off. Wiggins can't get it to go, and it goes over to UIC. But the early flow to this game certainly favoring Butler.
Absolutely, and Jocelyn Lands had a great start. 2 of 2 from 3, as well as that layup we saw off the pass from Mari Wiggins. A quick 8, as now she will return to the bench. Wiggins there couldn't finish, but as you talked about, that high kind of ball pressure right at midcourt, just trying to speed up the ball just a little bit, speed up the offense, make the ball move a little bit quicker, try to force a turnover.
Approaching the midway point of this opening frame. It's been back and forth. Butler currently in front, but not for long, as Erin Freeman checked into the game and scores right away. She's a senior, did not score, played limited minutes, and was 0 for 7 in their last game. So it's got to feel good for her to see that first one go down. Bulldogs now. High pick and roll, attacking is Zeenstra off the glass. And Lily Zeenstra, the freshman from Michigan, has her first field goal.
Good take there by Zeenstra. Grabs that pick on that high pick and roll, goes right to the rim. Nobody really stopped her. An easy layup there. Gets Butler back in the lead here.
That was a great read and react right there. Use the high pick and roll. As you said, nobody got in front, so just keep penetrating. LU fires another one, left that one short. And that one is claimed by Kylan McGuff, who leads the team in rebounding at almost 8 per game.
We've already seen 6 3-pointers attempted 6 minutes into the game. Seeing how the offenses and the styles of both of these teams, they want to be able to run and be able to shoot the ball quickly.
Now, Sydney James dumps it off. Inside, the lay-in by Stoddard, and the foul. Great read by Sydney James. I thought she might take that outside shot. She can shoot those. The best three-point shooter of the available players, I think, at 40%, but ultimately electing to make the unselfish play.
Yeah, she drove the lane. She drew some defense into her and then dumped it for Stoddard. Gets the foul and 1. Butler's leads by 4, and we're going to see Stoddard go to the line for one more.
3:52 to go as it brings us to immediate timeout of this first quarter. It's Butler in front as you're watching WNIT action from Butler University. Back inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, it's the second round of the WNIT, and Butler with the early advantage, 15-11. They're having great success offensively, Stephen. 6 of 7 from the field to begin.
Yeah, and the big story has been Jocelyn Land. The freshman forward has not seen a lot of minutes, as we talked about, not a lot of made field goals, only really does succeed at shooting the three-pointer. She's 2 for 2 today. She's got a quick 8. And Butler has used her well to build this early advantage.
Yeah, you talk about a player that second fewest minutes of the team of players that are healthy here, and she stepped up big in a game where she and others are going to be needed a lot here today. Same goes for Lily Stutter. Did not play last game, has seen action in 22 of the 32 games, and before that last time out, she made the layup and was fouled by Kimari Rimmer, number 1 on her. UIC head coach Ashleen Bracey in her 3rd year at the helm of the program as they go inside, and missing Studdard snatches down the rebound. For Butler in his 3rd year is Austin Parkinson. He was hired after a 1-win season here, and they've won more games with each successive season, 11 wins, 14 division wins last year, and 15 wins this season.
Nice play.
Hey, caught that one. There we go. Right into my lap here courtside, but it'll stay here with Butler after that deflection. We'll take that.
And you talked about Austin Parkinson and how the success has been coming off that 1-win season, brought him in, and every year has been more successful. Back-to-back years in the women's NIT, he has really sent a new type of environment.
Wiggins with the steal, missing. Had 2 good looks at it, first from 3 and then defensively, and unable to get that three-pointer and then the layup to go. But you're absolutely right, giving them a fresh culture, a reset, and the coaching staff here at Butler done a nice job of setting new standards and reestablishing what they want to have with a successful program. Now, UIC attacking here is Fro Garcia. The kick out, and that long 3 to no avail. It's going to go out of bounds and over to Butler after that was thrown up by Jada McLeod, one of their 5 graduate students on this UIC roster. So they have experience and players that are excited now to be in the WNIT for the first time in program history.
Only 25 threes. That was her 26 attempted for Jada McLeod, so not a very constant shooter. But we've seen UIC attempt a good amount of their shots, 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, wanting to get the ball up from outside the arc, try to get 3 points rather than 2 points early.
Yeah, almost half their shots have come from long range. I think if you ask Butler, they're probably content with that. 10 to shoot. Good ball movement, sends it to McGuff on the left arc. McGuff's going to have to attack. McGuff loses the handle, picks it up, dumps it off to James. Got it off in time.
A great pass there by McGuff. Lost the handle of it, was able to regather, didn't rush. Found a wide open Sydney James on the block for an easy 2 points.
It's the largest lead of the game so far, but short-lived as there's a layup inside scored by Aaron Freeman right there, her 2nd field goal.
Good take there. A little bit of an overcommit by the Butler defense allowed her to take that baseline, go to the rim. Nobody really stopped her there. There's another backline cut.
What a beautiful pass there by Wiggins. McGuff unable to punctuate it with a layup there, but the right ID. And I think, Stephen, you've seen here in the last few minutes, Butler's done a nice job of attacking, dumping off for an even better shot.
Yeah, not settling for the first shot they get, almost finding the better one.
Here's Freeman trying to do the same thing, turned it over though. Here's a 2-on-1 fast break. Inside, Wiggins lays it in.
That was a great hands on the defensive end by Carmody. She takes it and then finds Wiggins with a great pass for a quick layup. And with about under a minute to go, it'll be interesting to see how this game will play out at the end of the first. Butler up 6. UIC doesn't really want to get it to more than that.
Less than a minute remaining in first quarter. It's seemingly floating by. We've had only 3 free throw attempts, couple fouls. As here, Christian Young missing, getting in her own rebound. She's a local product. Indy won a state championship at Lawrence North. 15 on the shot clock. There's a steal for Butler as that was picked up and stolen away by Lily Carmody. They can hold for the final shot, which I think they will and should do here, in the hands of Lily Carmody, a freshman from Australia. Carmody to McGuff, straight on three, no. And UIC will have one last look at it with less than 6 seconds to go in the period. But first, a couple substitutions. Lily Zeenstra back in for Butler. For UIC, LU in. And so you'll see us, I think you'll see some pressure here from Butler early on, but you just don't want to foul either.
Absolutely, and McGuff gets her first breather of the game at a good time here, 5 seconds, knowing that there's a quarter timeout incoming.
Little lack of urgency on this play. And UIC does not even get a shot off. Well, Butler, who has not played in over 2 weeks, they have the upper hand at the end of the first quarter. Second round of the WNIT, it's Butler on top 19-13. We'll be right back after this media timeout as you're watching the WNIT. Butler in front 19-13 as we take a look at some highlights here in that first quarter. Jocelyn Land coming into the starting lineup. Didn't even play in their Big East game, but had a big impact, Stephen, in that first quarter lead for Butler.
Yeah, 3 field goals, 2 of them from deep. Eight early points, and she played 7 minutes. She's averaging only playing 9 minutes on the season, so she will probably most likely go way over that amount. A lot to be asked of Jocelyn Land as well as this entire Butler Bulldog basketball team.
So coming out of the timeout here, it'll be Butler basketball. They're in their home white. This is their 17th home game of the season. They're 10-6. UIC, meanwhile, 4-10. This season in true road games. They try to go inside. Sydney James' pass was not there. That becomes Butler's third turnover. So turnover is kept to a minimum for Butler after the first couple of minutes. And a bad foul there, 40 feet from the basket, committed by Lily Carmody.
We're seeing on the offensive side, Butler wanting to establish themselves in the paint. We haven't seen them attempt a lot of threes, kind of wanting the best shot, and those being layups and inside the arc, not settling for long-distance shots.
Yeah, just 4 of their 13 shots from the arc. And we'll say part of the players unavailable are some of their best three-point shooters, as that shot doesn't drop there by Rimmer. And here comes Butler back the other way. Defense sagged off, so we saw Jocelyn Land said, sure, I'll try another one, after Butler was 2 of 4 in that first quarter from distance.
No hesitation taking that one for Land, just a little bit strong.
That one no good by Christina Lu. And the three-point shots just not falling from UIC here today. They only make about 6 per game. They're 1 of 6 here now today. So that will be something to keep an eye on here as we move forward, as Carmody to the basket. She scores it for her first hoop, and we've seen some balanced scoring now, Stephen. All 7 players for Butler that have played have now scored.
Yeah, and that's going to be such a big thing for Austin Parkinson. How much offensive production does he get from his limited amount of players? He's getting a lot from everyone right now.
Zeenstra got a piece of it, and Butler with the steal. So see what Butler can create from it. It's a good defensive team. Austin Parkinson known for his defensive principles and also his fast-paced, decisive offense, as they're inside. Zeenstra missing the lay-in. Rebound coming to UIC. Rebounding early on, the upper hand goes to UIC by 4. Now, a quick attack at the other end. The left-handed layup is good there by Rimmer. And she'll head to the line for UIC's first free throw this one. There's another look at it.
Rimmer goes right in. Jocelyn Land not really in position, giving that left-hand side to Rimmer, who we have seen been able to establish her will in the paint, now up to 6 points, looking for a 7th from the line. We talked about her. We talked about her rebounding and her points. She is showing it today here at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Knocks that one down, a 68% free throw shooter. Preseason All-Missouri Valley Conference second team member. Finished this season with 19 games in double figures, including 6 double-doubles. She's certainly shouldering the workload offensively for UIC as that one's deflected out of bounds here by Middleton. It'll stay right here with Butler.
We've seen the UIC defense gamble a lot for steals, trying to jump passes. We've seen some deflections. We've seen some steals, trying to rack up the turnovers for the Bulldogs and get out and run in transition.
Zeenstra and Butler being patient with it offensively, reading the defense here. And we have a foul. Are we going to get 3 free throws? Let's see what the official ruling is after the foul committed on Christian Young, number 1. And yeah, 3 free throws. So a tough foul there if you're UIC. You do not want to foul from outside the line, especially a Butler team that is just shooting about 33% from range.
Yeah, shot clock was running down. Zeenstra just had to get it up. A questionable foul there by Christian Young to put Zeenstra on the line for 3 free throws now when they were about 2 seconds away from getting the ball right back.
As a coach, that's got to be one of the more frustrating things, right? Your team has done what you've asked. They're almost there. About to force probably either a turnover or a bad shot at the least, and you bail them out. That's something definitely frustrating. We highlighted, by the way, Austin Parkinson, as you see, good free throws there by Zeenstra. Same is true from Ashleen Bracey, what she has done at UIC to turn that program around. She took over after they had 2 wins in the 2022 season, and since then, 19, 18, and 15 wins there. So an impressive job there in the Missouri Valley Conference. Here comes Butler going inside to Sydney James. Opposite corner leads to an open 3. Too strong there by Carmody, but they'll get a second chance opportunity. 3 minutes gone by, second quarter. McGuff. Open is Zeenstra. I'll tell you what, they're taking all great looks. You don't have any issues with those. They're just not dropping. How about this in transition, though? Rimmer sends it out as LU misses and James snatches down the rebound. Butler looking to make it a double-digit lead for the first time here today. It's round 2 of the WNIT. Man defense still here for UIC. McGuff open cutting. Now she'll get back with some urgency here, turns it over, and I believe that'll be a foul on McGuff, headed the other way. Indeed, that's the case.
A little bit of frustration maybe pouring out there for McGuff. Had that open cut, as we pointed out, missed her on the pass, and then takes a foul after giving up a turnover there.
So foul on McGuff, just her first. Back into the game is junior forward from Crown Point, Lily Studdard, number 31 inside, a transfer from Purdue. Seeing a 2-3 zone action here by the defensive Butler is inside. A missed layup underneath there, thrown up by Kai Dempsey, Tony, a senior. UIC, we're just seeing their offense a little stagnant, haven't been able to produce this quarter.
And that was a good set there, getting it to Rimmer on top of at the top of the key. Was able to make a nice pass on the baseline, just missed the layup.
McGuff with 10 to shoot. Sends it to James, straight on 3 is good. I'll tell you what, we know she can knock down that 3-pointer, and she showed it right there, and that has opened up Butler's largest lead of the game. 30-16 is the score, and it brings us to immediate timeout as you see it right there. 5:41 to go, second quarter. All things Butler. three-point shooting that they've been able to get as we welcome you back here to Hinkle Fieldhouse. Big three-point shooting at one end, and at the other end, what Rimmer's been able to do to help keep them in this game, right?
Yeah, Rimmer's been a pleasant sight for UIC, shooting 1 of 8 from 3, struggling outside the arc, but they're able to establish themselves with Rimmer down low. She has 7 points, and on the other side for the Bulldogs, it's been about the three-point shooting. They've had 3 of 8. Jocelyn Land has done a fantastic job from outside, as you see here.
Yeah, there's a comparison between the top scorers on both teams right now, and Jocelyn Land, a freshman, did not even play the last game, averages 3 points per game. And in this one, when additional players are going to have to step up, she has a quick 8 points, which has helped put Butler here in front. And underneath, a foul away from the ball. I think they're going to tag a foul on Lily Studdard. And looking over at the Butler coach, Austin Parkinson, he wants that to be reviewed, as they got tangled there underneath. For Studdard, that's number 2, by the way.
Which does play into the role of being shorthanded. You don't want to get early fouls, loose ball fouls like that when you are shorthanded.
Ball comes in, and it's Rimmer. Quick lay-in, good execution there on the baseline out of bounds play.
Rimmer just continues to be able to go to the rim, using her big frame and imposing her will in the paint against the Bulldog defense.
Rimmer has 9, UIC has 18. That's the player to keep an eye on. Great pass underneath, finds Zeenstra in traffic, still manages to get it up and in.
Way to stay with it by Lily Zeenstra. Missed the first one, got the rebound, long distance pass, a little bit overthrown.
And so that's a quick turnover, a little bit out of control there from UIC. So Butler will get it back, but first, several substitutions here. And you're continuing to see, as you will, I think, throughout the game, some light full court pressure applied by UIC, given both, I think, the lack of depth for Butler, and they're missing some of their key guards due to the transfer portal.
Yeah, Austin Parkinson having to rely on some unusual people to bring up the ball, which once UICs want to speed that ball up, speed up a quicker pass, try to force more turnovers, as only 4 for the Bulldogs in opposed to 8 for UIC so far.
Studdard back to the basket. Good looking move, just unable to get it down low as she operated there from that left block. Butler maintaining a double-digit advantage here. Freeman. We're seeing some zone action here from Austin Parkinson's Butler team. Again, maybe a wrinkle that you add in because of your circumstances. Freeman misses the corner 3, rebound into the lap there of Studdard. And so now UIC just 1 for 8 from distance. That's really been an issue for them as they're trying to work themselves back into this one.
Yeah, I would like to see UIC try to get to the rim more. We've seen Rimmer do a great job getting to the rim. Maybe try to find the iron a little bit more rather than as Jane stepped out of bounds there.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, as UIC is going to get it back there because of the travel. You've seen that success with Rimmer, the graduate student. I'd keep going back to that well until it's not there anymore. And by the way, we should mention one of the notable things in this one that we will not see is their top scorer. She's on the inactive list. That's number 23, Micaiah Williams, a transfer from Marquette, a senior, leading scorer at 10 points per game. And over the last 5 games, she's been limited in her on-court action. Just 7 minutes per game over the last 5, scored a total of 13 points, despite averaging 10 for the season. So they, too, are working against the numbers game just a little bit. Nice dump off by Freeman, able to get the score underneath by Jada McLeod.
There's really been a lot of success for UIC going into the lane. I just see a great pass there by Freeman for an easy layup. I want to see them try to do that more, stop settling for a three-point look, and right now they're just not falling.
Both teams have scored 14 points in the paint. McGuff, elbow jumpers, buries it. So pure, great shooter there, and Kylan McGuff, good from 44% this season, averages a team best 13 points per game.
You can hear McGuff yelling for the ball. She got it, gets a screen, and has that little hesitation pull-up that we've seen so much of her, and a pure jump shot there. Extends the lead to double digits now.
There's Freeman attacking, a floater no good. McGuff dives on the floor and saves it here to Wiggins. Here comes Butler with numbers. In the corner for 3 is too strong there. Butler's getting good looks at it. They just have not dropped here as of late. Meanwhile, in transition, missing the layup was Rimmer. And a foul on the rebound will keep it here with Butler. But, yeah, you're seeing all kinds of success for UIC. It's coming when they're attacking the basket. That's where 14 of their 20 points have been scored.
Great defense there by Ari Wiggins, giving up a few inches on Kimari Rimmer, meeting her at the rim, forcing a missed basket, gets the rebound, gets Butler the ball back. Getting back in transition will be a big story because we've seen UIC run and try to get more downhill passes. Getting it downhill transition on defense for the Bulldogs will be something very important for Austin Parkinson.
Yeah, Kimari Rimmer, a team-high 9 points. Just picked up her second foul, though, so something to keep an eye on as well. As Butler has it, Ari Wiggins, a transfer from Michigan, a local product from right here in Indianapolis and Heritage Christian. And she throws it away there, just too much on that one. Butler with just 2 turnovers in that first quarter. They already have 4 in the second quarter. That's really kept them from adding to their lead at a time where UIC struggling to muster up offense on a consistent basis.
Yeah, we saw a big difference in the turnover margin, and now we're seeing that slowly shorten, only a difference of 2 between the teams, as Butler has struggled to hold on to the ball late here in the second quarter.
Middleton sends it middle of the floor, then gets it back, fires straight on. That's good. It's just the 14th three-pointer of the season from Danielle Middleton, a transfer from Marquette. And just the second made 3 for UIC here today.
Finally gets one to go there. Good ball movement around the arc, finds the open shot from the top of the key. Middleton, only a 22% three-point shooter on the season, knocks one there finally for UIC.
And when Butler in that zone, you're almost being dared to shoot the 3. And so to see a couple go down will help UIC, I think, open up things offensively as that long rebound goes out of bounds, and it'll be Flames basketball after Studdard heads out, I believe replaced by Sydney James inside. This Butler basketball team went 15-17 this season, 10-6 at home. Lost in the opening round of the Big East tournament a couple weeks ago. So a question coming in, Stephen, was how much of rust was a factor? Also rest hadn't seemed to be too much of a factor for this Butler team.
Yeah, no, had an 11-point advantage at the end of the first, have lost a little bit of their lead.
And a foul underneath. I think this one will be tagged on Sydney James. And that's her second. So she'll now be replaced presumably in the lineup by Lily Studdard, who also has 2 fouls. And for UIC, they're going to get a couple of free throws here. Here's another look at it on our replay. Not a ton there. But now to the line, number 5, Kai Dempsey, Tony, a senior, 82% foul shooter, and sinks that one. Butler led by 6 after 1. They had grown their lead to 11, but a couple free throws right there has now shrunk that down to 6 here.
Yeah, UIC seemed to maybe take a little bit of extra time to really get settled into this game, but it feels like now they've hit that point where they are settled down. They're down 6. They were down as much as 13. So a big switch here as we're seeing as UIC beginning to get more and more comfortable as this game plays out.
Final minute of this first half. Good ball pressure from UIC. As Butler gets into their action there halfway through the shot clock. Missed layup underneath, thrown up by Carmody. Here comes the Flames in transition. About 1 second difference between game and shot clock. It's been Butler leading the majority of this first half. They've only trailed by 2, leading by as many as 11. Now, Fro Garcia attacks. 5 to shoot. LU. And 2 officials, 2 different calls. Let's see who takes the call. It's the inside official, and it's a defensive foul on Butler's Kylan McGuff. And so McGuff picks up her second foul. Here's a replay. So we're going to see 2 free throws coming here for Christina LU. And if you're Butler, that's just unfortunate as you're trying to get a stop and go into halftime up 6.
Yeah, it looked like maybe McGuff had her feet set, took the charge. One official might have believed that it was a charge. The other one had blocked, took control of that situation, gets a block, gets UIC 2 more free throw attempts here before the half comes to a close.
1 for 2, rebound to Butler, 2 seconds, 1, and that will do it for the first half of action. Butler led for the majority of the way. They led by as many as 11, but a good close to the half for the UIC Flames in the second round of the WNIT has narrowed the gap to 5 points. It's Butler 31, UIC 26. We'll step aside for our halftime break, come back with first half highlights and stats as you are watching WNIT action from Indianapolis on the campus of Butler University. And we welcome you back inside Hinkle Fieldhouse. First half highlights between Butler and UIC as the Bulldogs lead by 5. What'd you like from UIC early on as they were able to be efficient inside the paint, right?
And we talk about being inside the paint, we have to talk about Kimari Rimmer. 9 points, 4 rebounds. She has been a big-time presence inside of the paint. We've seen them also try to spread it out in the arc. Butler in that 3-2 zone we've seen, trying to force them to shoot. UIC has taken the shots, just haven't been making them in the first half.
And for Butler early on, it was Jocelyn Land scored all 8 of her points in that first quarter as the Butler Bulldogs and the UIC Flames both struggled from outside, but we did see Sydney James can that three-pointer, getting it to go down before halftime.
Yeah, we've seen a lot. We saw early from Jocelyn Land, those quick 2 threes. And then we also have to talk about Kyla McGuff, who she sits currently with 5 points, but she's also been such a physical presence on both sides of the ball, very into the game, a big-time leader for Austin Parkinson here as we head into the second half.
Second round action of the WNIT. The winner advances to play either Purdue Fort Wayne or Old Dominion. The loser season is over, and right away out of the halftime break, a quick bucket for Kai Dempsey-Tony, just her second basket of the game.
And a good job there by Tony to kind of dissect how James was playing her on the block, gets a little bit of separation, puts it off the backboard with the right hand, gets an early 2 points for UIC, which is a good thing to see as they get there early into the game.
Nice backdoor pass. Sydney James finds Lily Zeenstra. She has now 9 points, and that was important, Stephen, because Butler has lost this big lead that they had developed. They got up as many as 11. It was cut to 3 until that last basket.
And I can imagine that in the locker room for UIC, they want to talk about starting this half strong. They didn't get off to the best start in the first half. Took a little bit to get adjusted to the game. A good sign there, getting a quick early 2, and trying to keep this lead around 5 before they're ready to try to make their real push.
5 to shoot, inside off the glass, in and out for Middleton. Rebound goes to Butler. Again, though, you like the fact the penetration and getting to the rack as the shot clock was winding down. Jocelyn Land trying to begin this half like she did the first half with a three-pointer, but Butler now 3 of 11 from distance. Both teams would like to be shooting better from beyond the arc for certain.
Way better, but no hesitation there from Jocelyn Land. Grabs the ball, steps right into it. Nobody really around her. She takes the shot. We've seen her be able to make that in this game and throughout the season. Just fell a little bit short there, but it'll happen on this side for Butler. They have to continue to play that strong defense we saw in the first half.
Christian Young throws it up, and that is well short. Headed back the other way. And Christian Young exits. She's replaced by Sandra Fro Garcia, transfer from Casper College. And here's that full court pressure that we've come used to with UIC, just trying to slow you down a little bit before you get across the timeline here. But it was a double-digit lead for that much of that second quarter for Butler, and now it's down to just 5 as there's a traveling violation. As miscommunication there. I think Carmody wanted the pass, and it was Zeenstra that was diving towards the basket.
Yeah, a little bit of Zeenstra was kind of posted there on that three-point line as that kind of exit out for Carmody. She cuts. Carmody kind of caught in the air, takes the travel there. Butler's 7th turnover of the game is now that turnover margin is now just to 1 when it was at 1 point up to 6.
See what UIC has. If you're a UIC, you'd love to see them make a run here. Maybe take back that lead. There's a deflection, though, by Zeenstra. If you're Butler, you're looking to string along stops while your offense isn't quite there in the last few possessions. We have a foul underneath. I believe this one's going to be tagged on Lily Carmody, and that's indeed the case. That's her second. So now, just a reminder, Butler shorthanded, just 7 players available due to both injuries. 2 of their top players have been injured most of the season, and then also 3 key players that played in all 32 games this season elected to enter the transfer portal. Now, here's Danielle Middleton operating middle of the floor, and just a foul there on Kylan McGuff. Not a smart foul right there. Will lead to 2 free throws at the line for UIC.
Yeah, Middleton almost kind of set her up for that, making those, as you see here, those crossover dribbles, gets to that elbow and just tries to pull up over top of McGuff, hits her on the hand. But a good setup there by Middleton. That is number 3 on McGuff, and as we talked about, that shorthanded Butler team, fouls is not what you want to see throughout this game.
And makes it even worse that McGuff's your leading scorer, your leading rebounder on top of just needing extra bodies out there. Meantime, Middleton at the line and able to sink the first and the second. She has 7 points, and it's back to being just a 3-point game. This UIC team trailed by 6 after 1, got down 11, and has marched their way back here as this Butler offense has gone a little bit stagnant. Not on, Sydney James missing that one. I was going to say, not on that possession. They scored on their opening one with a nice little layup, but James just unable to get that one to drop.
Continue to work it inside. It's all right those layups did not fall, but continue to get those easy looks inside. They'll fall eventually. Finding the best shot is always the best idea when trying to stop a run.
And we have a 1-point game. Christina Elliott, the transfer from Wisconsin, with her first 2-point field goal. She now has 6 points, and Butler needs to talk things over. They use a called timeout here by head coach Austin Parkinson with 6:44 to play in this third quarter. And I think this is a well-used timeout if you're Butler right now, Steven.
Yeah, it felt like a run was already happening, but you want to just slow it down. We saw some missed layups. We saw a turnover. UIC has done a great job out of this half, establishing themselves in the paint, drawing a couple of fouls. This is a good timeout by Austin Parkinson. Talk it over before they could almost potentially lose the lead that they had built up to 11.
Yeah, you see that graphic right there. One of the issues now Butler is dealing with is the yellow flag, a little concern for foul trouble. And McGuff, your top player available, then several other players with 2 fouls each. So if you're Butler, part of what you're talking about right now is, hey, we got to defend without fouling.
Absolutely, and especially with McGuff playing 18 minutes coming into this half. She only sat for 2, not used to being on the bench for a long period of time. Foul trouble, being shorthanded, it has to force Parkinson to put his best player on the bench for a little bit of time here in the third.
Your UIC, look, you've started the half on a 6-2 run. Answered with 6 in a row after Butler scored that layup on that opening possession. I think you're happy because you haven't even played your best just yet. 3-point shots aren't falling. You've missed some layups. So if you're UIC and head coach Ashleen Bracey, I think you're optimistic about the way this one is headed.
Yeah, you found some ways to get points on the offensive end, and you've also played great defense. Butler on a 2.5-minute scoring drought right now. The offense and defense, both sides of the ball, seems to be on the side of UIC, which is why this lead is all the way down to 1.
And just a reminder, UIC without a key player as well. Micaiah Williams, number 23, a transfer from Marquette, their top scorer on the season, is not available here today. Janes inside, and she scores it.
Well done by Sydney Janes. Had that help coming from the other side for UIC. Got it up over both with the left hand. Gets Butler a big score, their first in quite a while.
Yeah, they needed that one and hadn't scored since Janes made a layup to begin this third quarter. Almost 4 minutes gone by. Battle inside. If you're Butler, you got to be conscious of the foul trouble. Now, attacking is Fro Garcia. Inside for the 2s. That's Key Marie Rimmer, who's now in double figures for the 20th time this season. She has 11.
Great wraparound pass there by Frau Garcia. Finds Rimmer all by herself for an easy 2.
See what Butler can get into. Are they going to keep going back to that well as Sydney James? So far, yes. That's 3 straight possessions, Stephen, that they've looked to go inside and been productive out of it. Yeah,
she seems to have some sort of advantage down on the block against the UIC defense, where they have fed her in there. Even if you don't get a point, you still draw some fouls, which those will add up as well, and something Austin Parkinson will definitely take.
Foul on Kai Dempsey-Tony as Wiggins misses the corner 3 in front of the Butler bench, and Butler now just 3 of 11 from range. Make that 3 of 12 from range. It's not a great 3-point shooting team, but they're better than that current number, as both teams shooting 25% and below. That will go out of bounds and over to Butler, as UIC unable to take back the lead on this possession.
On this trip, I want to see Butler go back down low. They brought in Stoddard now too. Find some positioning inside, look for layups. If they're not there, that's when you can develop a kick out for a better shot. But you're establishing yourself on the blocks in the painted area. I want to see them continue to do that. Try to get some easy layups, maybe even rack up some fouls.
So here's the interesting thing too, bringing in Stoddard but keeping Janes on the floor. Stoddard's the 5, so Janes, who has not played the 4 position at all this season is now forced to that just because of lineups, and she's had the hot hand. You can't afford to take her off the floor, but that's something certainly we'll be watching here with that pairing inside. And a quick foul there drawn by Ari Wiggins, the senior guard from right here in Indianapolis. Smiling about that after Young picks up her second foul, and 22 left on the shot clock. Nice little tumble there by Wiggins, unfortunately. High ball screen from Studdard as they move it around the arc. Butler's had full control of the lead since the second quarter. And there's contact to the face of Carmody, drawing the foul there on Middleton. That's number 3 on the Flames guard.
UIC started to take a little bit, some chippy fouls away from the basket. We saw Wiggins and a little bit of entanglement and a tumble on the other side, and then here, well outside of the three-point arc, an unnecessary foul for UIC. Don't want those bad ones to pile up here.
And by the way, in doing so, it resets the shot clock to 20. So another full possession here for Butler. On the dribble, it's Carmody attacking baseline. 5 to shoot. 3, Janes gets it off. Too strong on that one, and it lands there in the hands of Rimmer. See what UIC has. They've had multiple opportunities to score to take back the lead. They've outscored Butler in this quarter 8-4. That one's short, rebounded to the Bulldogs.
Tough position there for Elu. Had nowhere really to go, lost her dribble, no real help. Had to throw one up, and another Butler turnover.
Yeah, and that one's out of bounds and will stay here, or rather become UIC basketball. But first, that brings us to the media timeout. Just over halfway through this third quarter. It's a close one. Butler clinging to a 1-point lead in the second round of the WNIT. One-point game back here at Butler, and UIC is charging. They're +4 in the quarter, continuing to gain ground. As you're watching the second round of the WNIT, Scott Agnes alongside Steven Siebel, and what has stood out to you about the production that we've seen from UIC here in this period?
We saw a lot in the first half. UIC living with shots from outside of the arc. As this half has begun, they've worked a lot more inside the paint, and it's generated a lot more points. But the biggest thing for me has been the defense. They've really locked in, grabbed some turnovers. This is now the second scoring drought Butler is on in the quarter. So not allowing Butler to find a lot of open opportunities, that's helped UIC claw back into this game with only 1 point deficit now.
Yeah, they settled for threes early on. I think that was a good point. 2 of 10. Guess what in this third quarter? Have not even attempted one. All 6 shots have come from inside the arc, and that has led to them chipping away at this lead. Again, the winning team advances in the WNIT to play the winner of Purdue-Fort Wayne or Old Dominion. And for Butler, obviously dealing with foul trouble with Kylan McGuff, a starting guard on the bench with 3 personal fouls. You may not see her again, I don't know, till the start of the fourth quarter. Does that seem reasonable?
That's what we were talking about. The fourth quarter, that means she would not have been in most of the third quarter. I want to see how these next 4 kind of go for UIC. If Butler begins to now be down, I feel like Austin Parkinson has to get his best player back into this game despite the 3 fouls.
5 to shoot. Long possession here. Getting a piece of that was Carmody, and they're not going to get it off in time. If you're Coach Parkinson, that's exactly what you like to see coming out of the timeout. when you're re-emphasizing your key messages.
Great defense there. No fouls at the late in the shot clock. Get you the ball back in where a situation has arisen where you need to score some points.
Just the second turnover of the quarter on UIC. They've done a nice job handling that. Averaging about 15 turnovers per game. There's Jocelyn Land, her third three-pointer of the game, and she's the first Bulldog player in double figures with 11.
Continues with no hesitation. All she needs is a little bit of space, and she knows she can make that shot. As you said, the third three-pointer for her now.
That goes out of bounds. It'll stay here with UIC. I mean, that just the circumstances in this are telling, right? Jocelyn Land does not play in their last game in the Big East tournament as you're trying to extend your season. And in this one, not only does she start, but so far, she's your leading scorer. It's all hands on deck right now for the Bulldogs. See if they look to go inside. They do not, as McLeod was posting up. Missed jumper there, no good by Middleton out on the left arc. If you're the Bulldogs, you're looking to try to make a nice little sprint to the end of this third quarter, right? Attacking is Zeenstra, who lays it in.
Good pick up front there by Carmody, and then a great physical take by Lily Zeenstra.
And this bodes well for the future if you're talking about Butler, right? I just talked about Jocelyn Land. Zeenstra, another freshman.
Yeah, they are built this postseason. It may be about shorthanded, but it's also about building experience. These players on the court are going to be there for a long time.
Second chance opportunity here for the Flames will result in some free throws coming their way after the initial miss by Freeman. And so Jaden McLeod will go back to the free throw line here. Here's another replay of that one. A contest at the rim by Jocelyn Lown results in her second foul. Free throw no good there by McLeod, who's 63% on the season. Has 2 points.
Interesting minutes here for Butler. No McGuff, no Sydney James, who we've talked about at the beginning of this half. Going with a much more younger team out there right now, just trying to weather a storm here, keep a lead, try to build on a little bit more.
Zeenstra somehow able to reel that one in. For Butler, they've leaned heavy on Carmody. Now, she only has 2 points, but she's done a lot out there despite those numbers and has played the bulk of this game.
Great on the defensive side.
There's a deflection out of bounds by Freeman. 7 to shoot for Butler.
And handles the ball extremely well. There may be a little bit of an errant pass, but handles the ball at the top of the key extremely well, as does Ari Wiggins, which again, down some players here that do most of the ball handling. Wiggins and Carmody have done a great job being in control of this offense.
Ball comes into Wiggins. Got to get quickly to the basket. 3 to shoot. Land throws it up, and it's just short. Good awareness there, at least by Butler, to know, hey, you got to act quickly here because the shot clock's winding down. Fro Garcia kicks it out. And now UIC, the Flames, will back it out as they get into their offense here in the hands of Freeman. Good attack there, but Rimmer missing. Second chance opportunity. Good by Jada McLeod. And she has 5. Just a 3-point game here with 90 seconds left in the third frame.
Rimmer, an open 3 opportunity there. We've seen her be able to make that throughout the season. Goes to the smarter route, takes Zeenstra to the rim, gets an offensive rebound.
And Land misses everything on that 3-point try, but she has had the hot hand here today with 3 of Butler's 4 3-pointers. And here comes McGuff for the final 1:20 of the third quarter. Her and Sydney James back in to close this period as Land as well as Zeenstra will get a quick breather. And that's really what it's going to have to be for Butler, is to try to constantly keep fresh bodies there on the floor. For the Flames, here's Middleton. Has 5 points, sneaks in, and lays it up and in for another. Now up to 7.
A really nice move there by Middleton. Gets physical, takes it to the right hand, and gets a tough layup to go.
And she's actually got 9 points, and it's a 1-point game once again. We had that similar scenario play out in that second quarter, but Butler was able to score 1 basket before the end of the half. Inside, the dish, stuttered, gets it.
Well done, and that was a lot about Lily Carmody. She got the screen, and then she knew in the back of her mind that Stoddard was going to go to the rim, have a smaller defender, a great little lob pass there. Good catch by Stoddard and a good layup.
Zone again for Butler. They go middle to McLeod, and she lays it in with the left hand. But Butler could hold for the final possession. 20 seconds left in counting.
Power in the paint right now. Both teams living in the paint, finding their opportunities around the basket.
Wouldn't be surprised if they do the same kind of thing, do a high pick and roll and try to dump it off down low. Not a smart foul there on the Flames, as a couple players have done a nice job surrounding McGuff, the ball handler, but you foul her. Now they did have a foul to give, so you aren't sending Butler to the line as we take another look at that. They had her surrounded, but a couple players reaching in there.
Yeah, the ball was a little bit free. Trying to grab the ball instead, hit the wrist of McGuff, gives Butler a new 4 seconds.
Inside it goes to Sydney James, 3 seconds, up and in. And like they did in the first half, they end the quarter with another bucket, and it's Sydney James, the lay-in. Great feed inside to give Butler the advantage, 44-41 as we head into the fourth quarter. It's a do-or-die situation for both of these teams. Fourth quarter is next as you're watching WNIT action. Well, back once again at Hinkle Fieldhouse alongside Steven Siebel. I'm Scott Agnes and our great crew behind the scenes. Part of this WNIT as you take a look at other scores across the WNIT. Duquesne has the early lead there, second half on Miami. And a great slate coming up, and we'll be keeping close watch on that. Should note, the winner of this one won't find out their opponent until Tuesday night. That's the oddity in all this. Purdue Fort Wayne and Old Dominion scheduled to play at 7 p.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah, both teams kind of waiting on who they're going to play and even when they're going to play. We don't really know about the times either. So another one of those situations of how long will the winning team have to wait to step back on the basketball court in their next game.
There you see the look at the bracket with at the very bottom, the matchup here is Butler and UIC. The Flames getting here by defeating UAB on Friday 63-48. It was a game full of runs, and ultimately it was UIC to make the last one 23-6 over the final 10 minutes to get that one done. And in that game, UIC shot just 28% from distance, so it has not been an efficient three-point shooting team, and that's why, Steven, I think we've seen them lean on, especially in the second half, action inside the paint.
Yeah, they tried early to get the three-pointers to fall. They really didn't, and instead of settling and continuing to throw it in, they want to now work in the paint, which we've seen Rimmer do a great job of. We've seen Middleton do a great job of. We've seen a lot of these UIC players find success in the painted area rather than behind the arc.
They didn't try an attempt from three. Meanwhile, Butler was 1 for 5 in that third quarter from range. UIC outscored Butler for the second consecutive quarter. That's why they're within 3 here for the final 10 minutes. 4 to shoot. The dump off does not get to James, intercepted there underneath by Jada McLeod. She did not start this game, but she has played a nice role in the Flames' comeback here.
Yeah, she has been really good, especially on the defensive end, kind of reading the Carmody, was looking at James, stuck her hand out, forced a loose ball, and gets UIC the ball back in a one-possession game.
Middleton using the high pick and roll. Now they'll go inside. Had McLeod open there on the block. Instead, Middleton fires a three, too strong. Going against exactly what we just talked about, right?
First one we've seen this half for UIC. Was a good look, and they got an offensive rebound out of it.
Yeah, you can't be afraid, you're right, of taking good looks, open looks like that one was, and then Freeman missing there, the runner in the paint. Meantime, at the other end, Zeenstra dials it up from distance.
Running in transition, Zeenstra fills the lane correctly. Wiggins takes it up, finds her teammate on the corner there for a three-pointer, a big-time shot for the Bulldogs.
Zeenstra starting in 20 of 32 games. She's the leading scorer with 14. And there inside, it's Frau Garcia, the senior guard from Spain, getting the layup. Her first points of the game.
Good take there. Navigated through about 2 Butler defenders all the way to the rim for a pretty easy layup. Back inside to Janes now.
See what Janes can do on McLeod. The senior scores it. We said coming in, she's going to have a major role in this one. She's going to play multiple positions and also have to be leaned on for her experience with 3 freshmen on this roster that is available.
And she's really found a comfort level inside.
There's a double team as they get it to Freeman. Misses it. And a tie-up will keep the possession here with the Flames.
Freeman going up strong, just a little bit short. Butler struggled to kind of corral that rebound, forces a jump. We'll move the possession arrow the other way, but for the time being, it'll stay right here with UIC down 6.
Butler coaches shouting out the defensive instructions here on this possession as UIC, after the tie ball situation, will have nearly a fresh shot clock to operate with as it resets to 20. Inside, slips through the defense, an easy layup underneath. That one scored by Kai Dempsey-Tony.
Great set play there. Found Kai Dempsey-Tony wide open with her left hand through a few screens. Butler not really communicating well enough to find her down low. Leads to an easy 2 points.
That shrinks the lead here to just 4. UIC has not led since early in the first quarter. Ari Wiggins dumps it off to Janes, who buries it. She's going to make that one all day. You cannot leave the senior open for that easy close-range shot.
In a rhythm inside, Ari Wiggins does a great job not settling for a three-pointer, driving the lane, finding Jade's wide open. And you're right, that's a shot she'll make most times than she'll miss.
James is one of 3 Butler players in double figures. She has 13. And Wiggins picking up her 3rd assist on that hoop. Underneath, James defends that well. She's last to touch it, though. Going against Dempsey-Tony will stay here with the Flames, and 9 on the shot clock. This is a UIC team that is 5-4 all-time in postseason games, but they're coming off their first WNIT win in program history. Wiggins nearly gets the steal. Shot clock winding down. It's Fro Garcia. 3 seconds. Have to put something up. LU does, and it goes over to Butler. Last touch by the Flames.
Continues to be a struggle from outside for UIC. Would like to see them work more with Kimari Rimmer. She only attempted 2 shots in that third quarter. Now in this quarter, we haven't seen her yet. Only 2 shots. She played extremely well in that first half, using her size down low. Would like to see UIC try to find her a little bit more on the block.
Approaching the midway point of this fourth quarter. Game number 33 for both teams. Nice pass. McGough can't quite get it to go. Left it short right there. Good offensive action, though, leading to an outside look. Middleton operating middle of the floor. Runs into a couple defenders, and this is going to be a big call. Is it on McGough? Because if so, that's 4. It is not. Carmody picking up the foul. It's her 3rd. And free throws coming from Danielle Middleton here. A 5'10 graduate student from Chicago. Had a career-tying 6 steals in their win over UAB on Friday. So a very active, feisty player out there. And in addition to that, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, she's been a very nice piece for UIC. Been able to handle the ball extremely well, not settling for shots, fighting her way into the lane.
An offensive rebound, put back no by Remmer inside. A 4th chance, no good. Butler fighting for the rebound, and Wiggins finally able to pull it down. A real missed opportunity there by the Flames after made one free throw and then got the rebound to extend the possession.
4 chances there, especially for Kimari Rimmer, just a little bit strong on that layup. Gives Butler the ball back up 5 after what you said, a missed opportunity for the Flames.
Now, James back to the basket. Has 13, great pump fake, and she delivers.
Continuing to dominate there. As you saw the double come to James, she forced it out with that fake pass to Ari Wiggins and then still went to that turnaround jumper that we've seen so much of her throughout the season for another bucket, up to 15 now.
They've led by as many as 11. Butler's leads back to 7 here. James has had a terrific second half. It's where she scored 10 of her 15.
Big shot.
There's a huge one, as you said, out of the corner. Jada McLeod buries a triple, their first of the second half.
A very big shot there by Jada McLeod. Only 26 attempted threes on the season. Has shown the tendency to make them, and that is a very big shot for the Flames, cutting this down to 4.
McLeod, one of 5 graduate students, so they got a lot of experience on this UIC roster, including McLeod. 5 to shoot. Zeenstra tosses it to Land, who misses. Fighting for it on the ground. It should stay here with Butler. Remember, we had that tie ball situation a couple minutes ago at the other end of the floor. Well, that brings us to the final media timeout of this one, and still a lot to be decided in the second round WNIT game. Butler on top by 4. Welcome back to Hinkle Fieldhouse, second round WNIT action. And saw that quick score by UIC. They've been clawing back. But then, Stephen, both teams have knocked down a three-pointer here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, they continue to work inside, but if the three-pointer's there, not shy to make it. We've seen Zeenstra here. We've seen Land pull up for a few times, McGuff, and as well on the other side for UIC, Jada McLeod. Only 9 three-pointers on the year before that attempt.
Yeah.
Still with the confidence to shoot it. A big shot as well as we sit here at the under 5 in a 4-point game.
Coming back from this media timeout, it'll be Butler basketball. 15 points for Sydney James, 14 for Zeenstra, 11 for Land. Both teams with 3 players in double figures each. The shot clock was reset to 20 following the tie ball situation. Here comes Land attacking.
Land showing she could do it for both ways. We've seen her shoot the 3, but there it doesn't settle, drives the lane, and gets a pretty good opportunity there for a layup. Extends the lead to 6. Interesting minutes here. We've talked about how Sydney James has been a big player on the bench here with about 4 minutes to go. Interesting to see when Parkinson decides to pull her off the bench and back into the game.
Well contested there by McGuff. Got a piece of it, but second chance opportunity, and there's a rare bucket in the second half for Rimmer underneath. She has had 11 points, 9 of those scored in the first half.
And remember, 22 and 10 in her last time out.
Yeah.
Now up to 13 and 8. Another double-double potential game for Kimari Rimmer, now scoring double figures in her last 8 games. 8th consecutive for Rimmer, cuts the lead to 3.
She's 2 for 2 at the line and has a team high 14 points. One possession game here with 4 minutes left in this WNIT action. Appreciate you joining us here this afternoon from the historic Hinkle Fieldhouse. A little horns action here from Butler. Man defense from UIC. As McGuff runs into the defense, and that's a foul on Christian Young, the product from right here in Indianapolis.
Tried to beat McGuff to the spot, was a little late. Had that collision there. It's going to be a block most of the time. So McGuff does a good job taking a foul as we see Jane step back into the game, as well as Ari Wiggins. This could be the final unit for the Bulldogs with 3:41 still to play.
Yeah, you can see Coach Parkinson trying to steal Sydney James a quick break on the bench. Remember, this team, for 2 weeks ago, was on spring break, had a couple practices this week, plus they're shorthanded, so they've all playing heavy minutes. In the corner for three, too strong there by Carmody. Again, though, a good open look. You have to fire away.
Absolutely, and the rebound came off long, and a chance for McGuff there just past the outstretched arms. Now gives it a one-possession game for UIC. Do they go three, try to tie it up, or do they just take the best one from inside?
There's a jumper underneath, thrown up by LU, the transfer from Wisconsin, missing. Here comes Butler in transition.
Ari Wiggins does such a good job keeping her head up in transition. Saw maybe she had a little bit of a lane, didn't continue to dribble. Carmody sprinting downhill to the lane on the right side with a great pass and a great score.
Wiggins is just such an energy bug off the bench. She has been all season. Has 4 assists, and what a dime there setting up Carmody for her second pass. How about that pass from Middleton? Easy laying underneath, and it's back to being a 3-point game.
A really incredible pass over 2 outstretched Butler defenders. Worried about Rimmer.
And McLeod now has 12 points. Yeah, if anything, Butler defense, you can't allow a pass to go all the way through the middle of the defense like that. And a mistake there, giving it back to UIC with a chance to tie.
Pass came a little high for Ari Wiggins when she planted, had her foot on the end line there. And once again, we're back in the same situation where UIC cannot seem to get over the hump of it being a 3-point advantage. Let's see what happens if they want to go with 3, with 2. How do they run this set with time dwindling away here in the 4th?
They tried second quarter. They tried during the 3rd. Each time unable to do so, and Butler scored a layup at the other end. Let's see if this time's different. Under 2 minutes to go. The winner advancing to the Super 16 round of the WNIT. The miss there by Middleton. Ball reeled in by McGuff, who has a team-high 7 rebounds. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Good rebound there by McGuff. A lot of commotion down below. Finds the physicality to grab the ball and gives Butler the opportunity to extend on a lead.
Running some clock, but Zeenstra running inside for 2. She has been fantastic here during the second half in particular, Steven. Zeenstra with a big layup right there to help grow some distance between the two teams.
Up to 16 now for Zeenstra, who again we talked about does not get a ton of minutes in throughout the full regular season, but there takes it right up, easy, gets a good layup, and now with about 1.5 to go, UIC now stands 2 possessions down. They have to start getting some good looks here to fall.
You gotta like that action right there. Good assists, and then Zeenstra attacking the basket when the 3 has not been there. They have had a lot of success, whether it's Sydney James inside, and they should still go back to that as well. But what a game from Zeenstra with a game-high 16.6 of 10 from the field. She's made all her free throws, and she's played 31 minutes. Okay, the other side of that. How about UIC? You're down by 5. You need a quick bucket here. You don't need to be in a rush, though. Still about 90 seconds left. Are you attacking as well?
Absolutely. Try to get to the rim. Try to get in the painted area. We've seen Kimari Rimmer have a great game. We've seen McLeod play very well down low. Those two have really provided a presence for UIC in the painted area. Look for them. Try to find them. Get some easy points. You don't need to go for a big-time 3 right now.
Here's the other thing I noticed. Going back with the double big lineup for Butler with Studdard at the 5, James at the 4, probably for rebounding purposes because we've seen UIC excel with second chance opportunities. That one stripped away by Carmody, but Butler unable to get to it before it goes to the baseline. It remains Flames basketball with half the shot clock on their side.
I think James may have been unaware that that was going to be off UIC, and she went to try to save it. And a little bit late, not a great pass to Kimari Rimmer, who would have had an open 3-point opportunity, lost the ball there.
I think Carmody might have got a piece of that too, leading to that baseline. Now, the Indy native Christian Young sends it inside where they're double teamed, straight up, almost managed to get it to go. was Rimmer. She's pleading for a foul call, did not get it. And what did I talk about coming back from that game action? Play the two bigs, and there it paid off with Studdard and James for Butler inside getting the stop.
Finding a double team on Kimari Rimmer, who had something to say to the ref, saying maybe she got hit in the eye as she's taking a little bit of extra time here.
Yeah, it looks like operating on her right eye, whether a contact or an it looks like a contact there with 63 seconds left. She was certainly crowded there in the paint, but you could see clearly that Butler's players emphasizing just stay straight up, and she still almost managed to get it to go.
Yeah, and Sydney Janes and Lily Stoddard both over 6 feet tall. Not easy to just get it over both of them. Still made it onto the rim, had a real chance for it to go in. It'll have to happen on the defensive side for UIC. No need to foul right now. Just play good straight-up defense for the next 17 seconds of the shot clock.
5-point game. Fake the dribble handoff, going back door, and running into traffic, but first a timeout. Butler got a timeout first. And what a good call there by head coach Austin Parkinson, as it looked to be almost a chaotic sequence as they tried to send it down there in the post. Now they'll get an opportunity to calm down, reset, and for both players to get a breather.
Yeah, Carmody seemed like she was in no man's land there. She was kind of stuck underneath the rim in the paint. Two UIC defenders kind of swarming around her. A good timeout there by Parkinson. And he still has some time to work with, right? 11 seconds on the shot clock, gets his players a quick breather, can find a good shot, and would be a big one at that to extend this lead to almost 3 possessions.
Butler's led since the early part of the first quarter. Here's a replay of that last possession as they passed it underneath, and Coach Parkinson was able to use one of his timeouts there late. Both teams have 2 remaining here for the final minute of action. Wiggins sends it into McGuff. Mid-range jumper short, and the rebound comes to UIC in the hands of Young, and she lost the handle but picked it up. Wiggins nearly stripped it away. Need to score in a hurry as Middleton terminates the dribble. Out of bounds. A mistake there by Jada McLeod, and I think Butler will use another timeout here.
A chaotic, kind of frantic way there, starting with the Butler on the offensive end. A great set out of that timeout. Got a very open look from McGuff. On the other side, we saw Young lose it for UIC, and then McLeod with her foot out of bounds. As you see that left foot right there, down on that end line. Turns the ball over. So now we sit here 24 seconds. Shot clock is turned off. Neither team is in the bonus, and obviously UIC is going to have to foul.
Great shot right there, and good call by the official, Alicia Shivers, seeing in that moment with this high-pressure situation, it looked like her heel just touched this near sideline. Now, all right, tables are a little bit different. 5-point game. You got to foul, right? You got to foul and extend the game if you're UIC. You have 3 players with 3 fouls, so it can really be anyone at this juncture. No one would foul out from doing so.
If I'm Butler, I want to try to get the ball to Jocelyn Land or Kylan McGuff, two of the best free throw shooters on the team. There's McGuff right there.
Got it to McGuff. Shot clock is off. She gets it back. Coach Ashleen Bracey in her 3rd year at the helm of UIC saying foul, foul, and they do so. That was just a foul to give. Now of note, Christian Young, that's her 4th. So they're going to sub her out here briefly so that she doesn't foul out, knowing they need to get a quick foul. This is one of those situations I've always wondered. A team should almost be rewarded by not fouling, in the middle of the game and be able to say, hey, we send them to the line immediately. I've always thought about that. And here's a foul on Rimmer, number 4 on her. And so now these fouls quickly piling up as the clock winds down. McGuff over to Wiggins with just under 12 seconds remaining. And now Wiggins should be the one going to the free throw line.
And a good job there by UIC. They gave their fouls to give, and when they had a foul where it would lead to a free throw shooter, they foul Ari Wiggins. Only 63% on the season, so one of the ones you want to foul, who's on the floor for Butler right now.
It's her first visit to the foul line here tonight. 0 for 1. UIC did lose 6 seconds having to go through that sequence of fouling 3 times. Missed them both. Out of bounds. I think it's going to stay here, although we might have a replay. No, they're going to say UIC basketball, and they'll have an official's review here with 10 seconds left. From our vantage point at midcourt, I thought it was a UIC player that touched it after McGuff, but we should have a better look at it after these 3 officials go to the replay monitor. Dave Rafalski, Ryan Dunham, and Alicia Shivers.
And a big story here, UIC on a scoring drought of over 2 minutes now. They've had this lead at about 3 and 5. So we're going to take another look here.
Let's see. Oh, man. That's so tight, you almost have to stay with what it was on the court.
McGuff definitely gets her hand on it first, but
who gets it last?
Does
right?
Elu get her hand on it last? I'm not too sure.
This is where I do feel for officials, right? Like, how is anyone expected to see this in real time?
Exactly, right there. Does Elu get a hand on it right there? So it goes McGuff, and then right there, does Elu get the last hit? Not sure. Call on the floor was Butler basketball, though.
I believe it was UIC they called it, right? I believe the official call was UIC. And now it is Butler basketball. So I should have stayed with my first instinct, right?
You had it. You had it right all the way here from midcourt.
There you go.
So now UIC is put in the position where they got the 2 missed free throws, just couldn't corral the rebound. So now they'll have to foul again.
And UIC did not get a sub in time. They have a couple players out there with 4 personal fouls. Here's McGuff. And there's a foul, and the challenge is that's exactly it. You were unable to sub out Rimmer in time, so their top scorer available in the game is disqualified here with 8.1 seconds left. You had to do it, but that's a tough one if you're UIC.
It's tough to have the foul have to be on Rimmer, who's played such a tremendous game today. He's been the vocal point of Belmont, obviously emotional as she walks back to the bench.
So Kylie McGuff heads to the free throw line, knocks that one down. Kylie McGuff now with 6 points. We'll make that 2 of 3 at the free throw line. Got them both. That should really be the dagger right there, as UIC will use a timeout. They had 2 remaining. We'll keep it here with 8.1 seconds left.
See what UIC draws up here. 7-point lead, 8 seconds still to play. You can get a quick 3, and if you foul the right person, you never really know. You've seen a lot of crazy things when you watch basketball, but for Butler, it's about not fouling right now. You don't need to foul a jump shooter. Just let them take what they want. Don't add to the pain. You don't want to foul somebody that it goes in. You give them extra points at the line.
Down by 7, now short on time. UIC absolutely, like you said, has to go for the 3. The threes just aren't falling for this UIC team, so we'll see if they can change that. They were 2 of 10 at halftime. They're 1 of 4 here in this second half, as we're going to see the inbounds coming here. You just defend it straight up. They're going to get it to Christian Young. No reason to go inside. Do not foul. Needed to take that 3, and that will do it. Butler wins and moves on to the second round of the WNIT. 61-54 the final here today, as Butler led 16 points from Zeenstra, 15 from Sydney James, and Jocelyn Land with 13.
It was an incredible performance by the Butler Bulldogs. We talked at the beginning, what is the rust going to look like? Not playing, going on spring break, all that stuff. They came out shorthanded. A great game from Jocelyn Land, Sydney James, and Lily Zeenstra. Game high 16. Did not play much throughout the regular season. A great performance here today for everybody involved.
For the second year in a row, it's Butler advancing to the next round of the WNIT. They'll face the winner of Purdue Fort Wayne and Old Dominion coming up on Tuesday. Final score, Butler 61, UIC 54. For producer Liam Crow and my partner Steven Siebel, this is Scott Agnes saying so long from Hinkle Fieldhouse if you've been watching WNIT action.